Alright, so I've been using this iPad Air 4 for over a month now, and this is my update. This iPad have a 10.9-inch beautiful Retina display with 60 Hz of refresh rate. I mean, come on guys, let's be honest, this display is still pretty nice. I mean, it doesn't have that smooth 120 Hz Pro Motion display, but this display is very bright and very color accurate, and to be honest, in my everyday use, even this display is 10.9 inch, it's still very useful and still beautiful, and I have no issue with it. Also, the iPad OS 14's animation is very smooth, so if you're not intentionally writing something super fast, or if you're not playing game like super intensive, you will notice that 60 Hz, I mean, it's still pretty good display. I know the A14 Bionic chip in this iPad Air 4 doesn't perform well when it comes to the GPU performance compared to the A12Z on the iPad Pro. However, this A14 is blazing fast. I use this iPad mostly for photo editing and scripting. However, I can totally play some video games with this and I see no stuttering at all. Sometimes it's kind of scary how snappy this iPad Air 4 is. I mean, if you don't open like 20 applications, since this only have 4 gigs of RAM, you'll be totally fine, and I had no lags, no stuttering, no frame drop in any game or any applications. If you don't install any type of keyboard case or some, bulky type of case, this iPad is very thin and light. I usually carry this iPad in my Wonder Provoke backpack, and I don't feel the tablet in my back, which is really awesome. But if you use it with the Magic Keyboard from Apple or this like Touch Folio keyboard from Logitech, this iPad will instantly be super thick and kind of heavy. However, in the positive side, since you wear a case on your iPad, when you drop your iPad, you will have a less chance to, break your iPad. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of good. Alright, the long-lasting debate between the Face ID versus Touch ID. I'm a Touch ID person, but I have to say the ultimate answer is that you kind of have to used to it. I mean, yeah, the Face ID on the iPad Pro is awesome. However, once you go out, if you can go out, you kind of have to wear a mask in this world situation, and Touch ID becomes very handy. And I've been using Touch ID for a long time, so I don't really have any type of issue with Touch ID. But if you're moving from like, Surface laptop or iPad Pro to this iPad Air 4, you might feel kind of, I don't know, there's some obstacle between you and your iPad. Okay, so I've been using this iPad Air 4 every single day for around maybe 2 to 4 hours of screen on time, but I haven't seen any type of battery degradation yet, and I can totally use it for 7 to 8 hours daily on this iPad, and I had no problem with battery at all. Like, it's really good. Also, Apple includes 20-watt fast charging in the box once you purchase the iPad Air 4. Thank you, Apple, so much. And 20-watt fast charging is very awesome, and you can charge this iPad Air 4 very quickly. The speaker on this iPad is loud and clear. The main camera and the selfie camera on this iPad is, to be honest, pretty good, and the Apple Pencil support is always plus on the iPad, and especially the second generation Apple Pencil is very clean compared to the first generation.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
And I love this Apple Pencil. Without Apple Pencil, I think iPad is not worth it, and with the Apple Pencil, I think iPad is totally worth it. However, everything is not perfect, guys. I have some stuff that I don't really like about this iPad. First thing first, you cannot edit photos or videos on the external hard drive or external SSD, which separates iPad and PC like very clearly. And for people who does like creative workflow like video editing and photo editing and stuff, if you purchase a 64GB iPad Air 4, I think you will struggle, especially raw photo takes a lot of storage, and if you shoot 4K, bro, oh my god, this iPad will be full very easily. Also, when you think about the time consumption when it comes to file transferring from hard drive to iPad to hard drive, it's gonna take a long time than just plugging in hard drive and editing on hard drive on your PC. So you kind of have to notice that part too, and if you want to be a YouTuber and if you have a dedicated, publishing date, this gonna be very, kind of hard for you, because you always have to think about the time when you're publishing video or publishing content on the internet. Also, I realized the iPad Air 4 doesn't support headphone jack, which kind of sucks. Even if you have a wireless headphone, if your wireless headphone doesn't support up to Bluetooth 5.0, you might see some sort of lag when you're editing a video between your headphone and your iPad. Since when you're editing a video, it contains a lot of rendering and a lot of play and pause when you're editing a video, you might see some sort of lag once you export it. I had a lot of problem with my Bose QC35 when I was editing a video on my Mac and iPad, since my Bose QC35, the first generation, was Bluetooth 4.2. But once I used the Bluetooth 5.0 supported Jabra Elite 85H, I had like less problem when it comes to the latency on editing. I mean, come on, Apple, you have enough space to put some headphone jack in this iPad Air 4. Look at this thing, it's pretty big. Alright, the last thing I don't really like about this iPad Air 4 is the price. I mean, for $599, this iPad Air 4 provides a lot of value, but if you want to use just like a PC and once you add some accessories, it will be a different story. Alright, let's see the full price of my personal setup on my iPad. Alright, I got this iPad Air 4, which is 256GB model, and it is $750. And I got the Logitech Touch Folio keyboard, which is $160, and I got the Apple Pencil, which is $130. The total amount of my iPad setup is $1,040. For the same price or $40 less, you can get the base model M1 MacBook Air, which is $1,000. The benefit of owning a MacBook compared to the iPad is, number one, you can have a better productivity, such as multitasking, and you can edit stuff in your HDD and external SSD. And number two, you can use professional applications such as Final Cut Pro and Adobe Photoshops. And number three, they have a physically bigger battery compared to the iPads. And I heard that MacBook Air's battery is pretty crazy and they are very battery efficient. And number four, they have a physically bigger trackpad, and MacBook's trackpad are always the best in my opinion. They are just so good. And number five, they have extra USB Type-C port, which is always a plus. Even they only have 2 USB ports, I mean, at least they have 2 USB ports, so I mean, you can't very complain of it. In conclusion, if you don't have your main device, such as MacBook, Windows PC like Surface and stuff, or like gaming PC, don't get iPad yet, or just like reconsider about your purchase decision when it comes to iPad, because iPad is really good. You can do Word, PowerPoint presentation, you can edit decent photos, I mean pretty good photos with Affinity Photos and stuff, and you can do some like, you know, crazy illustrations. But when it comes to professional level stuff, or if you want to do a lot of multitasking, you kind of have to get your PC. Like, PC is the ultimate productivity / creativity device, and it still is. I mean, the iPad is good, they have an Apple Pencil and they are getting more PC like, but if you care about time consumption and if you care about a bunch of multitasking, I think PC just demolishes iPad. However, if you have a main device and if you're considering about getting a, you know, content consumption, doing some drawing or doing some light video editing or doing some, you know, photo retouching, photo editing, also go for the iPad. iPad is such a great device, and one of the reasons why I got this iPad Air 4 is because they have the Apple Pencil support, and I really like, you know, drawing stuff, and I like illustration, and I do some light video editing and light photo editing on iPad, and this rocks. It's really good. But all my main stuff, all my YouTube video editing and all my stuff that goes on, like, you know, Instagram posts, I do it on my MacBook because I'm 100% sure that I can create what I want on my MacBook. So just reconsider if you want to get the iPad as a main device, but as a second device, I'll say just go for iPad. You don't even have to look at the M1 MacBook. If you already have a decent MacBook or decent PC, don't get the M1 MacBook, get the iPad Air 4, because this thing will make you hella creative, like a lot. But anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see my iPad Air 4 real day in the life review, please check the video right here. And if you guys want to watch my iPad Air 4 1 week later review, please check the video right here. And this is my channel right here, and I guess the Pixel 4a video right here. Anyway guys, I'll see you guys next time. My name is P Skates. You guys already know. Peace out guys.